Great, amazing. And thank you for submitting your report as well. I think, okay, no, let me not even get into the semantics of that. But yes, thank you for submitting your report, and thank you for making the time to be here today. So obviously you've already met everybody who's on this panel already, so we'll just go ahead and make some progress. Okay, so the first thing is first. Of course, one of the main actions that we did give you from last panel was to include more detail in your report, and just to let us know a bit more about some of the work that you'll be undertaking. And I'm pleased to say that, thank you, your report that you submitted is a lot more detailed than last time, and I can really see that you have taken on board the actions which we set you. So thank you so much for including more detail in your report. It's great to see. So my first question, or rather our first question, is more of a reflection on Green Week, because Green Week is, well, very much over. And just how you felt that it went, how you felt, did it meet your expectations? Did it meet your expectations? Did you plan for other things? Did you have goals? Were those goals met? And what have you learnt from everything that happened with Green Week, and how are you going to apply that to other campaigns that you work with?
Thank you, Na. First of all, for the time to scrutinize me, and because there's quite a few questions, so if I just forgot, I'll just ask the question again, and maybe I'll try to answer. So first of all, Green Week went well. So there was two aspects of Green Week campaign this year. One was online aspect, one was in-person aspect. So in terms of in-person aspect, it wasn't that good. It wasn't that engaging. There wasn't much participants. So yeah, in this aspect, it went bad. But in terms of online aspect, I'm quite pleased, because I was able to reach, on average, more than 4,000 people, or you can say 4,000 Greenwich students. And I was able to raise awareness and reach students with my contents on different sustainability contents, and also eco tips and other posts as well. So in terms of in-person, it didn't meet my expectation. And in terms of online aspect, it was beyond my expectation. I was able to reach more people, and I was able to raise awareness to more people than I expected. And what I have learned, I haven't really done any in-person campaign before, so that was one of my first campaigns. So I wasn't really sure how many people will be attending in the campaign. But last year, when I was a Green Ambassador, I did the same campaign, but on that time there was more attendee or participant. Although it was COVID time and there was so many restrictions, but still there was lots of participation. So I think I'm not really sure why there wasn't as much as attendance as my last campaign. Maybe I wasn't really anticipating all the aspects. That's one of the reason. And another thing, some of my event issues was quite serious things. Maybe that one of the reasons which didn't really attracted students. But although it's really serious issues, but still this is important, and still that's the thing, that's the knowledge or even the students need in terms of raising awareness, because sustainability is a serious thing. It's not like fun. It's not like dancing and singing. It's pretty serious thing. So it's and also how can I say, it's also a lot about learning, and in terms of learning, obviously it will be serious thing. So I think that's one of the reason. And one of the campaign was, one of the event was in Medway. And particularly on that day, there wasn't much student around campus. So maybe that's another reason. And yeah, what is the other questions, please?
Well, that was generally a rounded response. I suppose, well, you did answer a question that I did have about, well, the outcome of your campaign. And you mentioned that you've never really done an in-person campaign before, so this was your first exposure to it. So I suppose based on that, based on what you've learned about, you were able to reach a lot more people online, which you didn't expect. but also you didn't reach as many people in person, which you also didn't expect. If what would you do differently for if you were going to do another in-person campaign? Well, you are going to do another in-person campaign, but what would you do differently based on that?
Well, I think this time I was failed to bring on board students and student groups. Although some of the student groups and individual students helped me to promote some of my content online, but still I wasn't, able to bring them in the actual campaign. So if I do it again, I'll definitely try to bring them on board. So I hope on that time maybe there will be more participation and engagement. And I think there was another reason my campaign didn't went really well. So initially, I was planning with the university sustainability team on the campaign, and there was more events and activities, to be honest, in planned. But at the last moment, from the university side, the person who was leading the campaign from Greenwich from the university side, so that person dropped. He left the job, and then the campaign became really small. It was only basically all of the events was my events, and there was few events run by the universities, which I facilitated or took part. So that was another reason maybe it dropped and it wasn't as attractive as it is. Yeah.
Okay. And then so it's good that you've actually recognized that. So in terms of other campaigns for sustainability, are you planning to have any more on-site campaigns based on that topic, or is Green Week the end of it? Or like any other follow-up campaigns, basically?
So for this year, that will be my last campaign on sustainability, but I'll still continue working with all the stakeholders, for example, eco team and university sustainability team. And if there's any students who'd like to work on sustainability, I'll facilitate and I'll help them with, or I'll, just do if anything comes up. But apart from this, I haven't planned anything to do in term two, because for term two, I have already planned to do some other campaigns or activities.
Okay. And seeing as, well, in my mind, you're definitely the officer for sustainability. Sustainability is a very, very big thing of yours. Is there anything outside of the fact that you have other campaigns that you want to work on that's preventing you from wanting to do a follow-up campaign?
Sorry, can you just repeat the question? I haven't got it correct. Yeah.
Yes. So sustainability is something big on your manifesto and what you want to, the work that you want to carry out. So based on that, is there a reason why you don't want to do another sustainability themed campaign, or is it just because you have other campaigns that you want to work on as well besides sustainability?
Oh, so yeah, thanks, Henry. I forgot about this. So right now, I'm working on a bike scheme, and I have already communicated with the university, and I have already communicated with the other university who already have done bike scheme. For example, Bolton University, and they run a scheme which is really nice. And I can give you a little bit details. So currently, they have purchased about 1,000 bikes, and after starting it, they have already sold or already distributed almost 800 bikes. So and their campus is quite smaller comparing to us. They have around 10,000 students. So it was really successful over there, and that's why I was quite inspired by them. And then I'm trying to implement it in our campuses also. Right now, I have already talked to the university staff, and they they said or it's all right, they're gonna work on this, but they haven't really worked yet. So recently I have just put them in touch with some of the staff in Bolton University to get more informations, and hopefully I'll be able to start this scheme from term two. Yeah.
Okay, great. And I think I remember you talking about that briefly in your report last time as well. And I think one of the questions that we did ask was, what would be the plan if you didn't get the funding to be able to carry out that bike scheme? So, okay, cool. So I'm going to hand over to my other colleagues who have some more questions for you. So Cherry, I think Cherry has a question. So I'll hand over and we'll see you return.
Hi, David. So in your report, you mentioned having more counselors. I'm not sure how to say that word at Greenwich. So we would like to know, like, what help will this bring, and how will you achieve this?
Sorry, sorry, I haven't got your question. Can you just ask again? Can I ask you something? Is it possible to turn on your camera, because I think I haven't seen you last time as well?
Oh yes, sir. So do you ask for my camera?
Yeah, is it possible? And if not, it's all right, no problem.
Yeah, it's okay. Yeah, thanks, Henry.
Have this thing. What help will this bring, and how will you achieve this? All right, yeah, thanks, Hari, for the question. So when I started the campaign of increasing counselors, on that time the university had only 2 counselors, and which obviously wasn't enough comparing to 20,000 plus students. But after I did the campaigning, it was earlier this year around March, when was the election, obviously. And by this time, in the last few months ago, I guess, the university has already increased their mental health counselors from 2 to 4, and they also have recruited a lot of student coordinators as well to help the team. So I don't really think I will have to still work on this still, even if I haven't worked much on this, the university has already increased the counselors. So I don't see the necessary here. I think I have mentioned this in the report as well.
Okay.
Okay. Jerry, do you want to ask a bit more about that, or are you satisfied with that response?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Moving on. Wonderful. Okay. Sophie, would you like to ask Javed anything, or?
I do apologise for that. I think I'm losing my voice. Thank you for coming today. So the question that I had, obviously, some of your fellow officers have been unwell and have been unable to do some of the duties as it's been out of their control. How has it been picking up for some of your officers doing some of their tasks, doing it yourself?
So sorry, Sophie, just to repeat the question, did you mean so how I felt about doing the additional task, or?
Yes, and how has it been doing these other tasks that
Okay.
weren't necessarily your area?
All right, yeah, thank you. Obviously, last few weeks, to be honest, was really busy for me with lots of my own work and with my campaign work and other things. And since two of the officers was sick, unwell last week, and it was like overwork for me. I was quite, how can I say? Quite tired after all the things, but it was all right, because we are a team, and if one of us haven't done one of the things, it's not only putting them behind, it's going to put the whole team behind. So it was necessary, and I don't mind sometimes take extra responsibilities, yeah, if I can, obviously.
Thank you. That's great to hear. I'm glad it all worked out at the end. It's great to hear that all supported each other. Yeah, thank you for answering my question.
It's wonderful, and yes, that's a really great response as well. You are a team, and you're not a group of just individuals running individual campaigns. You are a collective who work for the betterment of our campuses rather, our student population. So that's good to hear. I would say probably the final. final-ish thing that will probably draw attention to is, well, you did submit your report late. Granted, it was late by 22 hours a day. And I will give you credit for the fact that you did send me a message to let me know that your report was going to be sent late. So I do appreciate that. But you know what I would appreciate more is if the report wasn't late. So because that would be your third late report, and not just your third late report, your third consecutively late report as well. So for your next report, I really sincerely hope it comes on time, or not even just on time, early. That'd be lovely. That'd be great. Because a report submitted on time it benefits both of us. It benefits all of us. It helps us be able to prepare the questions that we want to ask you. And then it also helps you not have to worry and rush and just compromise the rest of your work because you're thinking about, oh, wow, I have to submit this report. So it was a busy week, like you said. You did have to catch up on a lot more work on behalf of your other colleagues, like you said, but punctuality would be very, very great. Thank you. Okay, so I think that we're drawing to a close on this panel. I think we are actually. Wonderful. So thank you so much, Jabed, for joining. And yes, we'll get back to you with actions, responses, and yeah, we look forward to hearing more of your work in our next panel. So goodbye.